Ever wish you could invite more signs, synchronicities, and awe into your life? If you've been curious about unlocking your intuitive gifts, you'll love Magic Lessons, my monthly series for paid Substack subscribers, where I teach beginning intuitives how to step into their gifts. I'll show you how to get signs from your ancestors, connect with your guides, read the tarot, and even do spell work. This class is everything I wish I would have known at the start of my spiritual awakening. Subscribe now at underthemoongate.substack.com or click the link in the show notes below and begin your journey with me, Under the Moongate. Welcome Under the Moongate, my secret garden to help you unlock your intuitive gifts. I'm Erin Bagwell, an intuitive medium, artist, and witch, sharing stories, interviews, and lessons from beyond the veil to inspire us to find the magic within. Thank you for stepping through the gate and joining me in the garden. Today, I am so excited to welcome Chelsea Devantez, who is an author, a TV writer, an actor, and most importantly, she runs the Glamorous Trash Book Club, which is where I met all my book club friends. I have been traveling with them and connecting with them. It was actually through a trip, if you guys don't know and you're new here, to Las Vegas to go to BravoCon that I really stepped into my abilities and started taking my intuition seriously. So Chelsea feels like a gateway in herself. She is a portal to your most creative and authentic self. And the thing I love the most about Chelsea is she is one of the most hardworking people I've ever witnessed before. She's always in such beautiful planning, and the way that her mind works is like a beautiful entrepreneur. She is always like 10 steps ahead and isn't afraid to really go for something. And I think to be around that energy is so inspiring. And I find it to be very motivating myself while I'm figuring out my creative journey. And I want you guys to know, Under the Moongate, that we gonna have some changes around here. I have been in deep, deep spring brainstorming. I feel like the fog has finally cleared and so many exciting things are coming through for me. I was telling a friend earlier that it was almost like every day I could look through the pond of my life and see glimmers of these big, beautiful rocks. And I could see individually these rocks as kind of like a symbol for the projects I'm working on and the things I want to cultivate. But then the water would get murky and I couldn't see the big picture. And it feels like pretty recently the water has totally cleared and I can see everything. And I can see all the stones and the placements and the big picture. And I'm feeling clarity that I have not felt in such a long time. And I'm feeling so grateful and so grounded in that gratitude. And it's interesting, in this conversation with Chelsea, we talk a lot about the artist journey and the way that we find inspiration and how sometimes we're ready to go, but the timing isn't there, and how we find kind of those moments of joy in that discomfort. So it's a beautiful, creative conversation. I am so honored to have Chelsea here, and I'm so grateful you're here. So without further ado, here is my fabulous conversation with Chelsea Devantez.
Okay, vibes.
Hi.
Look at this beautiful cauldron I have walked into.
Yes, you're under the Moongate now.
Yeah. Oh, what a beautiful space.
Thank you. I am manically like painting it every other day. I have like a real problem.
Well, what you've done looks great.
Well, you're a Taurus. You can appreciate some emerald.
I love a dark emerald. You know that.
Yes, yes. You look gorgeous as well. You're giving me witch.
I'm doing casual witch. So I've got pajama pants on, but witch on top.
Perfect. Well, I want to tell people, if you don't already know who Chelsea is, I'm assuming that everyone who listens to my podcast is either part of the book club or listens to Glamorous Trash, your wonderful podcast, and has probably also read, I shouldn't be telling you this, but I'm going to anyway, your gorgeous memoir, which we got the privilege of walking through, watching you do the process, write it all out. And now I'm also part of the Behind the Banks. You know, not only am I part of your book club, I'm part of the Creative Writing Center, which is where I'm like learning all the tips and tricks.
I'm so excited for your story. How is it? How is your project going?
It's going really well. It's almost going too well, and I'm scared.
No, don't be scared.
Do you know what I
Those are signs.
mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean, but in the creative process, when it's going really well, it is only
You
the
just
muse
gotta,
speaking through you. It's
yeah.
only a good sign.
Oh, we're gonna talk about the muse.
Mm.
Yes, we are. But yes, I like haven't even I've told friends about it, but I'm too scared to talk about it really publicly because it's so it's going so well and I'm afraid to like, mess it up.
I think that's good. Protect it. You have to really, really be careful who you share your art with
Mm,
at all times, but especially before it's done. If the
yeah.
wrong person makes a remark or a
Mm,
thought or a phrase that sort of pops you when you're just like so vulnerable, I really feel like it can damage the project.
mm.
I'm dealing with that right now. So you have to protect it.
You're dealing with the fear of
I
sharing,
know I'm
getting negative
dealing with,
feedback.
it's not even negative. It's like, I shared a project in its very beginning because I have to with my reps when I like want to sell it, but exposing it to the sales process
Yeah.
before you're sort of ready to sell it versus like just be making it.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then you're still in artistic process with it. I sound so conceited right now, but like, I'm still in process with it, but now I have these like sales thoughts in my head and I have to like remove them.
Yeah, I tend to get a little like that too. Like I already designed a book cover. Like I need to see it. I'm going, like I have it all. Like
Oh, I
I'm
think that's part
practically
of it.
writing my own blurbs. Like I feel like I really, but in a salesy way too, of like, I'm understanding that this has to go out somewhere.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I think a lot of artists fear that process of actually letting it go.
Of
So it can be a
course.
little bit of both. Like it can be a good thing and then destructive too.
But I think the book cover, the blurbs, to me, I'm like, oh, that's still the muse. Like, this is you making your project
Mm. Yeah.
versus like an agent being like, more dialogue, which like doesn't come from story, doesn't come from art. It comes from the
Right.
idea of like, well, this other book that did well had dialogue more than yours did. It's things like that I feel like can mess you up before you're like fully ready.
How do you, as an artist, I feel like I've been so protected because my stuff has been so independent and small that I really truly have. I've had executive producers who've given me feedback, but people who are still on my team and still who ultimately gave me the choice to like say yes or no to feedback.
Yeah.
How do you, as an artist, like hold space for that? It seems so scary.
It has really ground me down over the years. I can't
Mm,
pretend like I think I have a deep strength for it now, but it comes from brutalization. Like it doesn't come from like a beautiful place. I've just made it through so many notes,
mm-hmm.
everything from like brutal feedback to like they also employ me. They're in on the project too, but their no is just not what I want it to be, but they pay me. And like I'm literally on my third round of I have just turned that in, not to mention developing the pitch, got so many notes. And
Yeah,
then when you're working with a studio and a network, they can have wildly different notes than like what you wanted something to be. So
sure.
imagine that process for just like a full decade. So I
I'm
really
amazed
feel ground to shit.
anything gets done.
It's pretty shocking. That's why it is such a miracle when something incredible makes it to screen. Not only makes it
Mm.
to screen, like, yes, that's really hard, but then when something incredible makes it to screen, something very special and unique has happened that is not norm to the process.
Do you feel, I love that we're already talking about the creative, so I'll just jump to my spiritual creative question for you.
Yes.
Do you feel like connected to a muse? You had mentioned the muse. I sometimes think it's almost like channeling to feel that
Mm,
creative energy. What's your relationship to like creativity like?
definitely a muse of, but I do think which
Describe, like, give us the definition of what muse is to you.
I think I'm going to give one definition, but it's also two. Maybe you've talked about this a lot on your podcast, but there was a time when meditating and doing stretches would never have been recommended by a doctor. That would be like woo woo and crazy, right?
Sure, yeah.
And now meditations are uploaded into your airplane app, right? Where they're like, why don't you meditate? Because this works to calm anxiety. And it was this moment where science finally caught up to woo woo, right? And then they could commercialize and distribute. And I think there's a lot of things woo woo that science doesn't have an explanation for yet, but will.
Sure.
And a lot of things like that maybe are just fully made up and will never have science to them. But the muse for me, half of it feels like pure divine, like someone has deemed me an artist and has given me this thought. But the other half of it feels fully scientific. Like I've studied this for so long. I've read the books for so long. I've got all the structure. I've got all the tips. I've got all the tools. I have experience at this. Like it's really that. Sorry to shut up Malcolm Gladwell, but it's your 10,000 hours.
You're meeting the opportunity.
Yeah. Therefore,
already
I have all my skill sets so that when I see a blip of a gem in the world, it just like rattles through my skill sets and comes out as like an idea and a whatever. But it feels like someone like tapped your head. Yeah. And all of a sudden, like a story came alive.
I was just talking to another friend of mine who's a medium, and we were talking about my first film, Dream Girl, which is about female entrepreneurs. And it was like a little bit of like an indie splash in New York. Yes. We premiered at Obama's White House. I got tapped to be on Oprah's Super Soul 100. So cool. Yada, yada. A lot of like really cool things. But she was describing the experience. She was like, oh yeah, the guides were just looking for someone and you were there. You were available. You had your hand up. You were ready. You were ambitious. She's like, it probably could have went to anybody. She was like, but you were there to receive. And I was like, happy to do it.
We love a practical medium. We love a realism.
To be the one who I think, to your point, like gets tapped on the head and it's like, I've done a bunch of short films. I'm like delusional enough to think I could do a feature. Let's go.
Yeah. I love that. And listen, like it's the divine. It's also, what's that quote where it's like, good luck is opportunity meets preparation. Yeah. It's like, I feel like it's the same sentiment in like 10 different spiritual languages, of like really prepare and your moment will come.
I always say you can't miss an opportunity that's meant for you. And I feel like I learned that actually on your podcast because I love hearing about the stars that kind of find their moment. And every time they had, like when I'm thinking about like Sporty Spice or, my friend Matthew Perry, like all of these things that come through.
Yes, your friend, yes.
But none of them make sense. Their stories don't make any sense how they got A to B to C. And I feel like if you're really divinely meant for something, like they wanted you for that role, you're not going to mess it. And I feel like that gives me like a little bit of delusional calm when we think about that. Like those creative processes.
I think hold on to that delusional calm and keep it tight. I love that you learned it on my podcast because I don't think I believe in it anymore. There's things where I'm like, that was mine. It was mine, and maybe I just haven't accepted it, but I look at it and I go, what happened?
I mean, you're dealing with the yeses and the nos all the time and the crazy structure. And I'm sure there's like stress of feeling like you paid your dues. Now give it to me,
I
empathize with that for sure.
Oh, yeah. I think everyone feels that at all times. We're like, I did the thing that you said to do. Like, where is it?
Yeah, the hard work. How come it's not paying off? I want to go back a little bit because, and can I read you a little bit of your book to you?
Oh my gosh. Wow. Yes. What an experience.
You talk about growing up new age. You say crystals, incense, and all that jazz. And yeah, by the time I was 12, I knew the moon in my astrological chart was the real obstacle in my life. Even now, when I take off my bra, you'll hear a bunch of rocks clank to the floor because I still stuff a couple of crystals in there before I go about my day. I've seen more psychics than I've seen doctors, more astrologists than dentists, more iris readers. What's an iris reader? Than pediatrician. And if you've met me, you know that it shows. I'd love to like talk a little bit about your new age upbringing and kind of I think what's really interesting about your story is you hold new age, but then you hold skepticism too.
Yeah,
Like it's almost like tell me about it.
I think I'm pretty walled off to new age, even though I hold a lot of space for it.
Yeah.
I think um like the other day a friend of a friend reached out and they said they got certified or took all these classes in past life regression
Mm,
hypnotherapy.
sure.
They said, would love to give you an appointment and take you through this. And I had to say, like, you don't want me. You
Mm.
do not want me. I promise. The amount of psychics and intuitives who have been like, you have to let me in. Like, take your wall down. Like, you have a block. And I had a friend go instead who is like very open. And I think I got really jaded the way maybe someone growing up in like a Christian church might be
Mhm.
jaded to church, but
Yeah.
still hold beliefs that, they might still pray, they might
Totally.
still believe
I
in
I
God.
call
Yeah.
myself a recovering Catholic all the time, and I'm still
Yeah.
quoting, things that I grew up with or learned or rituals that still feel comforting, although I can see them now with different eyes.
Yeah, I think I that would really fit for me and new age because I was scammed pretty hard at times and I didn't
Mm.
know for decades. Like I would hold a belief that I'd picked up in childhood only to find out like that was not only categorically untrue but created by a scam artist. And
Mm.
so I have, yeah, I have really big walls up. I've also absolutely watched true psychic moments happen. They've happened to me. I've been witness to them. I've seen like really beautiful mysticism in the new age world. I've seen many intuitives. I've been a part of a couple miracles. I've also been next to a lot of bullshit that kind of messes you up.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is such a great topic because I just had a gal on the podcast, or maybe she'll be after you, I'm not sure. But she talks about how her beginning of her spiritual journey was part of something that really didn't feel in alignment with her. But
Mm,
she was at a place in her life where she felt open and she wanted to learn and she felt really manipulated. And so we
yeah.
talked a lot about like how to spot those things and how to feel them. And it's interesting because I just recorded this thing and I'm going to butcher this quote, but it's essentially like people find religion when they're afraid to go to hell. People find spirituality when they've already been to hell. And so oftentimes we're in these places where we're so broken that we want to find something. And I definitely feel like my mental health has been softened by my spirituality and guided and in a really loving way. But I could 1,000,000,000,000,000% see being sucked into something just to feel better.
And the due diligence you have to go through to make sure your brain at its most vulnerable is in the right hands. I think that's a
Mm.
really important process.
Do you have, I can think of some tips on
Tell
how to
me, I would
spot
love them.
somebody who's in
Yes.
like um, so the first thing is, when I talk to clients, I always tell them that I'm here for their best and highest good. I do messages grounded specifically in earth and elemental energy, and I don't deliver anything low frequency. I'm not interested in anything. So you get you pay for a transaction and you get a positive message. And I think where we get murky is when mediums or healers say, like, oh, I noticed this problem with you. You have to
Mm,
pay me more in order to heal it.
mm-hmm.
And so it's almost kind of like a bait and switch of like, let me get into your energy, figure out what's wrong, and then please give me more money to solve the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing that I like to do with my clients is I feel like I'm really just acting as more of like an intuitive mirror to people.
Mm,
And what they know is right is right. So, like,
yeah.
I might channel something or give information, but like, ultimately, they are the authority of their experience of what feels right. And so I feel like it's more of a power exchange as opposed to me trying to be, leading or something.
I
And
think
then the
that's
other
beautiful.
thing is you're if someone tells you they know more than you, then that's bullshit. Like if
Yeah.
someone's like, I have the answers, that's bullshit. So
Yeah.
I
That's
think
a really great one.
Yeah, because I think a lot of those people want to find, I mean, we all want answers. Listen, hello. Like we're here, we're
Yeah.
doing the work, we want to heal. We want to get great messages. I want to channel things that are inspiring, but at the end of the day, like I recognize that I'm a part of a whole collective and it's an energy exchange between all of us. Like nobody is
Hmm.
higher or lower. Do you know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
I think you can
Yeah.
get into like the guru area where people think they're like saints or whatever.
Absolutely. I think that's really well said. Good tips.
Do you have any tips to add to that bucket?
This is what's so tough about it. Erin, what you said, I think is exactly right. And I think the key is when someone says they know more than you, because
Mm,
often in cults, they try and put the power back on you, where they're like, you know, in your brain, why don't you feel something? And then
mm-hmm,
they manipulate you to feel something, but then you
mm,
think it's you. So you're choosing, you're going back to them, you're having this experience that they are guiding your brain through, and you think it's you until you realize you are paying Keith Raniere $500 a month to
sure,
fake play
sure.
piano. So, and yeah, I think also like the psychic moment I wrote about in the book, this psychic really did tell me he told me like 8 things that absolutely came true exactly as he said they would come true over the course of like 5 years.
Wow.
And I kind of had this feeling after that of like, I don't think I was ready to know. And
Mm,
that's also why I think those things took place over 5 years, because he also said, like, this boyfriend you have, like, fucking LOL. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, no way. And I was like, oh, come on. He's nice, you know? And he was like, this is such a ridiculous match for you. And that was so true. I wish I could have
yeah.
gotten myself out of it sooner. It was such a ridiculous idea that we were a match. And I wish I could have heard something to help me see that myself, but hearing it and accepting it are just two different things. And I think having all that stuff in the back of my head for so long made me realize like sometimes you're just not ready to hear it.
Well, also the delivery is so important for
Yeah. Well, you
information that
know,
is
was
important like
pretty
that,
to
you
the
know?
point. He had places to be.
Yeah. He could
But
sense
again,
you were in that
he was
Starbucks and
so I mean, he really was psychic. He was like, when you're ready, I guess you'll do it. You don't have to listen to me. See you later. And I was like, "Ooh."
yeah, yeah. Interesting. Fred, where is he now?
Well, his real name's Frank. I changed it for the book. And I really it was a phone call. I picked up my phone. He came in. My mom knew him. I think he was in Seattle at the time. I
I
knew
love
that
that your mom
he
is like your agent for
oh,
psychics and
100%.
mediums.
Yeah, yeah, because she's enmeshed and I got to
Mm-hmm.
come back to know who the ministers are.
Yeah.
But I knew that Fred performed drag at night, and that's also what made
Oh,
me trust him.
cool. You didn't include that in the book.
Well, I had these weird things of like I don't want to like
Out him.
out this man if maybe he's not doing it anymore, like I don't
Yeah.
know.
Love a drag queen psychic though.
I think all drag queens are psychic. I think drag queens are our walking witches. They are our Jesus incarnates.
Mm. And hairdressers, I think.
Mm-hmm. I agree
I've
with that.
heard that because they spend so much time on the crown that they start to
Yeah.
open up, that a lot of hairdressers are.
Love that.
Hmm. Speaking of unknown mediums, I'd like to read another section of your book to you. Okay, this is from the chapter about your mother and Debbie. You write, I was sitting backstage at the Second City in Chicago, where I worked as a comedian performing a show every night. As I put on my makeup, an intense energy entered my body. I stared into the mirror, overtaken by a voice in my head that asked me a flurry of questions about myself and my life. It was gone just as soon as it arrived, and I caught my eyes in the mirror and shook it off, the mascara wand still dangling from my fingertips. I turned to my best friend Rebecca and whispered, I think my grandma just died.
Yeah. That shit happened.
So, something interesting in all mediums' stories and journeys is the death story. Did you
Where
know
they predict
this?
a death. No, I did not know that.
Yeah. In every famous like medium story or memoir, there's a scene, there's a chapter where they know a death is coming and they feel it.
Wow. I
Please
didn't know that.
respond.
I was incredibly like tapped into intuition and healing, especially as a little kid. Like I
Mhm.
was the it even weirds me out to talk about it. I was this 4-year-old that would be sent in to be like, you have an ailment. And like I truly felt like I could like heal or know where someone had an ailment. And like
Mm.
as like a child. And I really backed away from it. I really backed away from all of this. So when my grandma died, I was really surprised she would visit me. We
Yeah.
also really didn't know each other. Like I the my mom says I've met her more than like twice, but it was at ages where I must not have remembered. But like I
Sure,
really only
sure.
met her as an adult once. And I made a joke of this in the book, but one night she wrote on my Facebook wall, like, I keep looking for you on SNL and I must fall asleep before you come on. And I was just like, oh, wow. Like, how did she get Second City confused with SNL and
Perfect.
she's like watching this television screen and I'm never going to appear for her. And I think what was really odd about that moment is that it wasn't a beautiful moment. And I kind of
Mm.
took that out of the book because it led on its own path that off led me off the story. But like it
Yeah.
was a pretty dark experience. Like the questions being asked
Really?
of me were like really confused and upset and sad. And it
Mm.
was some deep like, who are you questions. Um
Did you feel like it was coming from her or coming from you?
I felt like it was coming from her.
Okay.
Like these questions that she'd never gotten answered about me. And also I've really messed up
Mm.
paternity. It's like, how do you call and tell a family member that you've met once that the
Mhm.
that the person you think is your dad is not your dad? And also that's you're letting your grandma know that your dad is not your dad, even though like you and your grandma don't speak often. Like, yeah,
Right.
so I really messed up paternity. And I think she was really like confused from afar about that and like wanted someone to
Mm.
talk to her about it. It made me wish I had found a way to break through these walls between us and like befriend her and become friends in life and have like talked with her.
Yeah. Interesting. I guess I'm kind of pausing at the discomfort of the feeling of it going through. I think that's
Yeah.
really interesting.
Yeah. I felt like she was upset with me
Upset.
and sad and had like unanswered questions.
Yeah. Sometimes they do. Sometimes.
Yeah. And I think that would track. I mean, like, I think when you're the kid, you think like, well, they're the grandparent.
Mhm.
They know how to reach out to me. Like they should be they should be forging this. Like I don't know how to forge relationships. Like I'm a kid, right?
Yeah.
And I think I wish I had understood more about how not all adults are adults like that. And by the time I was
Mm,
27 when she passed away, like I should have taken the reins to make that relationship happen, but I didn't know how to yet.
for sure. I will say I reread the chapter today just to prepare and because it's one of my favorite chapters in the book and I definitely started crying again towards the end when it's revealed that there's this heirloom in your family, there's this beautiful ring and everyone's kind of wondering it's your grandmother's ring, who's going to get this ring? And I love the way you wrote it that she leans in and whispers a name to your mom. Your mom has been taking care of her this whole time. Your mom's kind of like holding out hope. Maybe she'll get the ring. And then ultimately at the end of the chapter, we find out you get the ring. And it was funny actually when I saw you in Tennessee, I remember the ring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it
I
was
wear it.
so, I mean, it's such a gorgeous big ring, but it speaks so loud.
Oh, thank you for saying that. The ring is so fascinating because it's my mom just wanted her mom to really love her
Hmm.
and be like, I love you and I'm proud of you. And like, oh my God, you're my amazing daughter. And my mom didn't get those things from her because my mom wouldn't tell her you were an amazing mom. You were because she
Mm.
wasn't, she really let my mom down. And then I think she was mad at my mom. And so my mom wanted the ring in this sense of like, I just want my mom to love me.
Yeah.
And her mom just like couldn't give her that. She just couldn't for whatever was in her way. And so she gave it to me again. Like we didn't know each other very well. And I think it was, I mean, I wrote about it. I think it was sort of like and I'm sorry. Like I was my mom's mom more than her mom was her
Mm.
mom. And I now carry her ring around and I literally I talk to her. I'm like, look at us, we're meeting Jon Stewart. Look at us, look at our book tour crowd, like look what we've done. And I feel like I'm friends with her now and like we've like come to love each other like through this ring. And I think for her, like she needed a forgiveness she didn't know how to ask for. So she sent the ring to me because she knew she didn't deserve it from my mom.
Definitely. And I think also in a way, I feel like when you're kind to people's children, it's also like a special form of love. You know,
Mm,
she could have
yeah.
definitely given it to your mom, but I think there's also something very precious about her passing it on and being like, I acknowledge you as a mother.
Oh, that's really nice. I love that.
Yeah, I feel like when friends like make a special effort to get to know my kids, I'm always like, oh, like this is a different relationship, you know?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's fascinating too. I mean, my mom had to go buy the ring out of pawn in order to give it to me because she'd gotten into debt again. She'd sold that thing to pawn like 8 times throughout her life.
So
And so
good.
it's interesting because my mom's also a really big piece of this. Like the ring does not
Yeah,
exist without my mom, like buying it
totally.
out again, you
Yeah,
know?
it's part of her story for sure.
Oh, for sure. For sure. It is more her ring than mine. I'm just like carrying it around and taking it on adventures.
Ugh, I love it. We have come to the segment in the show. Do you have a question that you want to ask a medium? Is there anything want to know about or any weird
Yeah.
experience or
Absolutely. I think my question for you is like, can I ask? I don't know why, but it feels like a selfish question.
hmm,
Like it feels like a superficial question. And I don't know if it's gonna be like fun for a podcast, but it is the question like I've personally been asking myself every day.
please?
Okay, which is that I have been creating so many things lately, like building so many boats,
Mm-hmm.
and then I get stuck waiting which one
Mm,
of them is going to go and like where am I supposed to put my time and what am I even supposed to focus on, and then I'm having these moments of like, you know what to focus on, it's right here, and then I'm like, no I don't, and then I go spend my time like building something else, you know, and I
mm,
feel like I'm like chaos building right now, and
yeah.
I want to know like if I'm doing the right thing and an answer for one of these things is going to come through, or if I need to like settle down and focus as opposed, yeah, where do I put my focus?
Mm. I think it'd be fun to pull a tarot card because I get a lot of inspiration from the tarot, but the word that was coming up when you were talking was fear.
Mm.
And it feels like you're afraid to work on the thing you really want to work on.
I no, I work on everything I want to work on.
But it,
No, I think my fear is that like I'll focus on the wrong one. Like I'll miss the one I'm supposed to work on because I'm over here chaos building to the side.
but you don't feel like there's one that you love a little bit more than the others.
I feel like has been that knowing has been like robbed of me because
Hmm.
of working in the business. You just have to get up so many times. You have to just get knocked down and get up so many times that
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I have the privilege to like follow that feeling anymore.
Mm. Okay, let's get the cards out. Let's see what we can get some clarity on here. Also, I feel like there's another book.
There is another book.
Yeah, there's another book for
Oh my
sure.
God. And I just turned in the pitch.
Um, okay, we've got the Page of Swords. He is kind of an androgynous fellow. He's got his sword out. This is an interesting card because he's kind of ready and willing to go, but there's nothing for him. This card always gives me the sense that like he's too eager. Like he's got his sword up and he's ready to go, but like I don't know, he's in the middle of the field just like hanging out. Do you know what I
That is
mean? Like what's he
exactly what
doing?
I am up to right now.
Yeah, it feels like there's a lot of like defensive. You're almost like on edge.
Yes.
And the swords, it's interesting because the swords to me when I pull, do you do tarot at all?
Yeah, I did tarot for a long time. I really always think I'm really heavy into swords. I think it's a big part of my personality. I feel like I'm the
Mm,
queen of cups because of emotion, but the
okay.
rest of me is made of the swords.
So tell me what you think when you see a sword.
I love it. I think what I think when I see that card is like
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't know what to swing it at. And that's how I feel. Where I'm
Mm.
like, I'm ready. I'm going to fucking knife you.
Yeah.
But who and where? Which direction?
Yeah, it's almost like he's swinging a baseball. Like that's the
Yeah.
stance
They're
that
always
he's
like
in.
very powerful, intellectual, concrete, tangible. They're doer objects versus like the cup, which is a receiver.
Yeah, I mean, I always think too that they're sharp objects and that you have to be careful where you spend your energy because you don't want to end up, chopping your own head off by accident.
That's a really good lesson.
So, you know, the swords, when I see a sword, I'm like, okay, let me pay attention here. Like, let me sit up in my chair. Like, this is coming for me.
Yeah.
I feel like you're not gonna like this answer.
God damn it.
But this is that you just have to wait. Like, you just have to hold space for waiting, and it sucks and it feels
Yeah.
uncomfortable, but I'm not getting, like, it feels like you are prepared. And it
Yes.
feels like you have, you know, you have space and you have things going. And it's like, and I get this too, where it's like we want so badly for things to just manifest so quickly.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
it just, we must just, we're so human and things take so long.
Yeah. Wait, are you a Taurus, Erin?
Yes, yes, yes.
What's your rising?
I'm a rising Scorpio.
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah, and I got a Libra moon.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful and witchy. Okay. Okay, I like that. I asked because impatience goes with Taurus.
Tauruses, yeah. Yeah, it's very well, we're so hardworking.
Yeah.
And you're like a triple Capricorn, like up and down.
Yeah.
So
Wait, do you know that for reals?
yeah, you are, aren't you?
Yeah. 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 I mean,
Yeah.
double Taurus with a Capricorn rising.
I mean, it sucks because it's like the work is there, the work is beautiful,
Yeah.
but like we must wait. And to be honest, the sword to me is like put it down energy. Like just put it down. Like I know that this is like not what you want to hear,
Because you know me so well.
but like if you have space and nothing is manifesting, but nothing is wrong, then like maybe there's space for joy. Maybe take a bath. You know what I mean?
I love taking a
Hang
bath.
out with
Yeah,
your
absolutely.
dogs.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
watch whatever you need to watch. Like just allow this to be like a little bit of a break before something big happens.
Do you know if something big's going to happen, or am I going to take a break, waste all my time, wake up in 3 months and be like, what have you done? Get to work.
You're never, ever, 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 ever going to waste any time. Like you might take a break for 10 minutes, but we both know you're going to launch 10 more businesses tomorrow. So,
well, no, I'm taking this advice. I'm joy, like don't launch a thing.
What I've learned from channeling Anna Nicole Smith on the Fixing Dead People podcast is joy is the fastest way to manifest. So like whenever my friend Eleanor channels,
I
she
love
like
that. Have you coined that? Have you named that? You need to put that on your account immediately.
Put it on a mug.
Put it on a mug and sell it.
She plays rock music before she channels. Like if we get our body up, you know, when you're like in the zone and you feel like so good in your body, that's when the universe is like, fuck yeah, that girl. I'm gonna tap that one. She's like in the zone. She's in alignment. And so that's why we want to kind of keep ourselves in that place of joy and allow for rest and allow these things. And I empathize with you because I get a lot of rejuvenation from work, which freaks people out.
Yes. But it is really freaky to people, isn't it?
It really, they get so mad.
Yeah, it's somehow not a likable trait, even though you're like, I'm working. Come on.
For my first documentary, I worked like every weekend, you know, for eternity and yada yada. And people were so mad about it. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm having so much fun. I'm making a movie.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really special when it's special or mental health when work rejuvenates you. And when that's a very like, it only gives you more rather than take from you. I think a lot of people don't get to have that because of capitalism.
Sure.
Or just personality or again, mental health.
I'm in the most privileged position 1,000% when it comes to my art.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm even thinking back to, it's like when I was every bit of my life, no matter what job I've had, all my server jobs, when after I took the order, the next page of my notebook was my ideas, my thoughts, my dreams. Like I always like that fulfilled me versus like, oh, you better come up with a side hustle, like that type of burden. And I think it's really special when you get to, get rejuvenated by your rise and grind culture.
Yeah, definitely. We're all on our own journey, people.
We're all on our own journey. Yes.
Do you want me to pull a card about what you're...
Yes, I want you to pull it because of all the ways we come together. You pull a card about my new book.
Your new project?
My new book.
Your new book specifically. Okay. Bum bum bum. You got the Hangman.
Oh my God. Wait a minute. Remind me what this one means. What? Remind me what this one means.
Well, this card it speaks a lot to me specifically because I have a relationship with this fucking card. I mean, he's essentially waiting. He's being tied up and he's waiting for somebody to come cut him down. But he's not rushed. He's not hurried.
What a little asshole.
He's got his little like divine, loop-de-doop around his head.
Okay, yeah.
Feels like to me they're not going to tell me is what I'm getting from that card. It's always the things you want to know most that usually the veil is like, we're not going to reveal.
We're not going to tell you. Yeah. It's also, that's what I meant about like, it's like superficial questions. Like I always have questions about like work stuff and I don't have questions. You know what I mean? I don't have questions about other stuff. And they're like, oh, you want to know about your dinky little Hollywood project? Like fuck off.
I think that's beautiful. You love what you do.
Do you think our new dog is happy with us?
Yes, I do.
I mean,
I don't need to pull a card about that one. I've seen that dog. I know that dog is doing good.
Yeah, he's doing great.
Yeah, they both seem so happy.
Yeah, I don't know if the little one is so happy.
Well, the little one never seemed that happy.
Yeah. But I do think it's good for him to have other dog energy around. I think it's making him a little more alive. But I don't know if he's happy about it. Yeah.
That's fine. They're both good.
Okay, good. That's nice.
They're good dogs. I have an animal communicator if you want to get real, like down and dirty.
If you think, you know what? I have met with a pet psychic. So maybe that breaks my book spell. But it was for our dog, Atticus.
To make sure that he could.
At the pandemic, she was doing, this is why I am such a bad person in these situations because this pet psychic was handed to me beginning of quarantine. I'm like, hell yeah, let's get on this, speak to that dog. And we had just rescued him in this like wild way. And so I wanted to know everything about him. And the reading is fine. Then I have two friends come to me and they're like, do you know a pet psychic? The most unbelievable, accurate, uncanny, magical readings I've ever heard. Wow. One of them, a friend was like, listen, I don't even believe in this, but my dog is sick and no vet can help me. So like, I don't care. I'm trying something wild. Yeah. And the pet psychic was like, there is an obstruction in your dog. So you go back to the vet and there's an obstruction in there. And she goes back for like the 16th time. And she's like, I think there's something blocking in my dog's airway. Like she's just like, look for an obstruction. And they found that the groomer had left like a cotton ball in their dog's ear. But it was leading to other, leading to sneezing and brain stuff. And so the pet psychic like healed her dog.
I follow a gal named Kara Daniels and she posts the wildest. You wouldn't believe the things she posts of like the things she knows. And I mean, it's absolutely incredible. Like she's had people who've had like rat infestations and she's like channeled the rats to get the fuck out of a house. Like it's wild.
Okay, I'm coming to your pet psychic next. The thing is, like, our new dog is just so happy to be here. I'm not sure. I don't know what. I think the psychic would be like, yeah, he would love another bone.
Yeah, I think you're once you just scratch behind the ears like a little bit more. Yeah,
he says his hour-long walks are not long enough and you should walk more, loser. That's what he's probably saying.
Your dog's good. We have one more segment to wrap up our little show here, and I'll ring my housewife bell for you. I want to know, Chelsea Devantez, what's your gift?
Oh my goodness. That is such a beautiful question here. By the way, should I have been calling you the Buffalo Medium and not Erin? No. I feel like I've
only Chris calls me that.
Well, me too. I'm fully in on it. What is my gift? I really am genuinely interested in other people's stories. And I think I'm very good at, if you are an intuitive mirror, I think I'm a story mirror or I'm your mean older sister. And I go, you need to do this. You need to do this. What are you waiting on? Call this person. Like you across the party, come over here. Okay. This is a director. Like I hooked up a documentary. I created a drag king that night. But it's their stories. But I feel like one thing I'm really good at is running really fast, pushing really hard and making it happen, even if the world doesn't want you to. And I think I'm very good at lending that out to people if they want it.
And I want to add on to that because you walk the walk. And I don't think a lot of people can say, you should do this, you should do that, you should do this, but you actually produce the work. You share stories that make you sick to your stomach to like have to be vulnerable about. You know, you actually go out there and tell women's stories and show up for them. You bring all of us together to do this creating writing project so that we can get better and learn the business and get all these insider tips. Like, that's the reason people are like, oh, Chelsea said it. Like, got it. I'm stepping up. I'm going in line. Like, because you're the real deal.
Thanks, Erin. I have to say, Behind the Bangs has been like the most beautiful part of my year. And I try and like make sure I've stepped back enough so people can really like forge and create. But like I'm like every group when I like check in on the Zoom, I hear about the stories, I'm just like, holy shit, like something incredible is coming from this group. And I know for sure. That is my psychic ability where I'm like, uh-oh, I can feel there's like heavy, incredible stories about to emerge from this year that I'm like really excited about.
And I feel like we wouldn't be given the opportunity to share those stories and to take them seriously if you didn't create the space for them. Like even
That's
within
really
my
sweet.
work, you know, like I was so inspired by, I was telling Takara this, that like everybody in there, like one person in our group like cried when they shared their story. And people were being so vulnerable and like really digging deep. And I was like, fuck, like my story, I don't feel like nervous enough about it. Like I got to go back and like dig deeper and like figure out a new thing. And that's when I
Yeah.
started writing and was like, ooh, this feels awful, which is like one of my intuitive feelings of, oh, like you're being vulnerable, you're being real, like this might make you
Yeah.
nervous to share, like you're on the right path. That feels honest. So I feel like you're creating this magical space for people to really bring stuff together.
Well, like nothing makes me happier. That is so cool. And when I look out and I see our book club and I see that like it is a book club of like creators and thinkers and artists, I'm just like, how lucky am I that we all found each other? Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like whoever created The Bachelor looks out and they go like, what have I done? Like I created a sea of poisonous blonde highlights. And I feel like I look out at this community and I go, holy shit, I truly found the best people in the world. And I don't know how, but it's like the best gift.
Well, you're magnetizing them with your high vibes.
And you guys are magnetizing me. Yeah, no, it's high vibes. Love that. High vibes, witch vibes. Yeah.
Amazing. Chelsea, thank you so much. I can't begin to thank you for really for being here. It's such an honor to have you under the moon gate. And also just, you know, to have been in your collective. Like some of my best friends now are cookies. Like we were traveling together all over the United States. It's so wild. I didn't know these people
So
2 years ago. They're like pushing me to open up myself, you know, with the Buffalo Medium, like the whole rigmarole in Vegas. I don't know if you know this, but I just did a tarot reading for Real Housewives of New Jersey last week. Like, I don't know what
Oh
kind of journey I'm on.
my
It's very
God.
wild.
I love this so much, Erin. This is fucking magical. This and watching you become the Buffalo Medium has been truly has been magical. And that reading felt so nice. And I will tell you, I usually get like tingly arms and hands when like something good is happening to me from far away. And I did start to get some
Mm,
tingly arms and hands during that reading. So thank you.
beautiful. My eyes water when I do a reading.
Oh, Erin, it was so nice to get to experience your gifts.
I love it. I'm so excited for your book.
Thank you. I mean, we'll see. We'll see if
Oh,
it becomes a book. You know what I mean?
You're gonna figure it out.
I'll figure it out. It's Hangman right now.
There's
Yeah.
no, but I don't feel like it's a hangman in a negative way. I just think that like this is like I feel like there's no bad cards. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this is a lesson they want you to learn is just sit tight. Can you be in discomfort and find joy? That's like what I'm getting.
I'm gonna take that with me. Can you be in discomfort and find joy? Oh my God, that is so necessary right now. Okay.
And
I'm
like
gonna
why
write
not?
down.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that down. Okay. Okay.
do it.
Erin, I'm gonna go write that down. Thank you.
All right, please do. Thanks,
right, bye.
Chelsea.
Under the Moongate is produced and hosted by me, Erin Bagwell, with music by Sal Mastrocola. To get monthly magic lessons, replays of my workshops, and tickets to live reading events, join me as a paid Substack subscriber by clicking the link in the show notes or visiting underthemoongate.substack.com. To book your own private reading with me, visit my website, erin-bagwell.com. And help me pass the magic along. Rate, review, subscribe, and share this episode with a friend. If you want to reach me, you can email me at thebuffalomedium@gmail.com. Thanks so much for listening.
The wizard
beautiful.